Welcome to the channel. Welcome to a slightly delayed Banter in the Box. Wayne's World. It's your game week 2 review. Another fantastic week in the Family Fantasy Football League with the Premier League transfer deadline day on Friday, throwing many teams in the Family Fantasy Football League into chaos. 3 managers going into the transfer market in game week 2. None of them buying any tactical gambits, but we've already had at least 3 managers go into the transfer market early doors in game week 3. In this edition of Banter in the Box, we have got your game week 2 winners and losers, out of office, predictor challenge, FFFL stats explained, a manager of the season update, and as always, confirmation of the date for the Family Fantasy Football League presentation awards at the end of the season. Your game week 2 winners, take a bow. Charlotte Williams, Foxborough Foxes. Charlotte climbed 1 place to 5th in game week 2. You have to go back to the 28th of April 2023 for the last time Charlotte was as high as 5th. Take a bow also, the Wearside Warriors climbed 4 places up to 8th. You have to go back to the 20th of May 2022 for the last time Lee Polt was as high as 8th in the table. Take a bow also, no happy endings. The biggest climbers in game week 2 up 5 places to 12th. And 12th is the highest that Dye has been since the 11th of November 2022. But the biggest game week 2 winner, take a bow, Sash Hammers FC, Wayne Robinson. Climbed a place to go top of the Family Fantasy Football League. Wayne got his first weekly win of the season and set the highest weekly total of the season so far with 95 points. The last time Wayne was top, the 1st of June 2007, over 17 years since Wayne has tasted life at the summit of the Family Fantasy Football League. 1 manager of the season point to those 4. Your game week 2 losers, hide your head in shame. Nicky Lee, error 404, fell 2 places down to 18th. Nicky has not been as low as 18th in the Family Fantasy Football League since the 1st of June 2010, over 14 years. Hide your head in shame also, Pops Hoxby, a game week 1 winner, he's a game week 2 loser. The biggest fallers in game week 2 fell a huge 7 places down to 14th. And hide your head in shame also, I've got a life manager, Mops Hoxby, pictured there on the right, fell 1 place to 26th, second from bottom in the table. Mops hasn't been as low as 26th since the 21st of October 2022. And on the left there, hide your head in shame, Lyndon's Lovelies, fell a place to the bottom of the Family Fantasy Football League table. She was the lowest scorers in game week 2, registering -2 points in game week 2. Joe has not been as low as bottom of the league since the 14th of April 2023, where they had them 1 manager of the season point lost. Now, just to let you all know that FFL HQ is closing on Tuesday the 3rd of September until Friday the 13th of September. You can still make transfers in that time, but if they're void, you won't find out until I get back. There are no Premier League games for the next couple of weeks because it's the first international break of the season, so you won't miss anything while FFFL HQ is closed. But when making those transfers, check them carefully because if they are void, you won't find out until I'm back on the 14th. Predictor Challenge. The deadline has closed for Predictor Challenge. As communicated in the last edition of Banter in the Box and on FFFL email updates. You had the opportunity to earn a possible 25 Manager of the Season points at the end of the season. All you had to do was predict who you think is going to finish first, second and third in the league table, who you thought was going to win the cup, and who you thought was going to take home the wooden spoon. Just 8 of the 27 managers had a go at the Predictor Challenge, and here are their predictions. And incredibly, of the 8 managers that submitted their predictions, 7 of them have predicted that Greece Lightning are going to win the league. I'm the only one that didn't think Greece Lightning was going to win the league. I've got him finishing second. I've gone for Arden Diamonds to win the league. Never bet against the number 1 rated manager in the Family Fantasy Football League. Norfolk and Chance FC was most people's choice for the wooden spoon. 4 managers predicting that Angela will take home the wooden spoon for a record fifth time. She already holds the record for 4 wooden spoons and got the wooden spoon last year. So if she finished bottom again, I think she'll be the only manager to get consecutive wooden spoons. I'll have to check that. Alexi Lagos put the dagger into his mate, the Mad Hatter, predicting he would take home the wooden spoon. And Mops Hoxby, unsurprisingly, also predicted the Creed Bratton Society would take home the wooden spoon. She's really got it in for the Mad Hatter. The Mad Hatter didn't stick the dagger into his mate. He predicted Greece Lightning would win the league. He does fancy himself to finish third in the league and take home the cup. And he told me that he thought James, obviously, was going to win the wooden spoon. Now, there is a James in the Family Fantasy Football League, so I've noted, haven't jot a clue as the Mad Hatter's prediction to win the wooden spoon, though I suspect the Mad Hatter was referring to James Bloomfield, who was in the Family Fantasy Football League last season, but dropped out, so isn't in it this year. I've decided to give all of those managers who entered a Predictor Challenge 1 Manager of the Season point just for taking part, so well done to you all. I'm the only one that's predicting Arden Diamonds is going to win the league. Mark Benwell has got Arden Diamonds finishing runners-up, but no one fancies the number 1 rated manager in the league to do it. Ontario Grizzlies, many people expecting to be up there, finishing either second or third. Sarah Goodwin's ambitious. She thinks she's going to finish in the top 3. Well, I'd love to see it, Sarah. That's positive thinking. I like it. Current league leader, Sashamas FC. No one's predicting him to win the league. Couple think he's going to be runner-up. Joe's got Sashamas FC to finish third. Error 404, Nikki Lee. Megan Hoxby's predicting you to win the wooden spoon. So anyway, there are all the predictions for this season, and obviously any of those that are correct, you get 5 Manager of the Season points, so a possible 25 Manager of the Season points if you incredibly get every single prediction right. Now, FFL Stats Explained. I've had a couple of people email me to say, oh, I think I've got this amount in the bank. I think I can spend this much. Just before going to air, actually, we had a second Wall of Shame appearance. Wearside Warriors. Lee Poulter made an invalid transfer, got his sums wrong, made a transfer that meant his team wouldn't adhere to the current £80 million budget. So it is all the information you need to work out how much money you've got is in the stats that I provide, but I just thought I'd explain. On the league table tab, and there's a snippet of the league table at the end of game week 2, there's on the 4th column of the league table tab, there's a column called budget, and that is how much your team can add up to. Now, everyone started with a budget of £80 million, so at the moment, everyone, with the exception of me, has a budget of £80 million. I now only have a budget of £75 million because I spent £5 million on a wildcard tactical gambit. You only get one of those a season, by the way. And that budget column will change as the season goes on, because other people will either purchase tactical gambits, which, depending on the tactical gambits you buy, cost either 5 million or 2 million pounds. And remember, at the end of each month, all of those in the bottom half of the table, so 14th or lower, at the end of each month, will get an extra 5 million pounds to spend on their team. So that budget column will change as the season goes on. So if you want to work out how much you've got to spend, because you're not sure, look at the league table tab and see what the amount of budget is against your name. And then, excuse me, on the team tab, you can tell what your team adds up to. So let's take Ontario Grizzlies, third in the table at the moment. Manager Neil Hatch has a budget of £80 million. If we look at Neil's current team, in the bottom left-hand corner of each team, there is a team value. And you can see there, Ontario Grizzlies' team value is 78 million. He's got a budget of 80 million, so that means that Neil has £2 million in the bank to spend. So if you want to know how much you've got to spend, you can tell from looking at the budget on the fourth column of the league table tab, and then looking at your team value on the teams tab. That will tell you the balance you've got in the bank. And then you add that balance to whichever player you're transferring out, and that's how much you've got to spend. Hopefully that helped. Who the fuck is that? This is a picture of a current Family Fantasy Football League manager. Sarah Goodwin thought that was a picture of debutantes Maldives Massives. And I can tell you, Sarah, that was an incorrect guess. But the good news is, Sarah, you were the only person to have a guess. So I'm giving you one manager of the season point because you were the only manager to have a guess. All of that means the manager of the season table looks like this. Nikki Lee drops to 12th in the table for being a game week 2 loser. Pops drops to joint 6th for being a game week 2 loser. I climbed to joint 3rd for entering the Predictor Challenge. But it is Sarah Goodwin and Di Maloney, the two masseurs in the Family Fantasy Football League, who have gone joint top of the manager of the season table. Di for being a game week 2 winner, and Sarah for being the only person to enter the Who the Fuck Is That this week, and she also entered the Predictor Challenge, so she earned 2 points. Sarah, of course, was the manager of the season last season, and she's tied at the top of the manager of the season table with Di Maloney. Remember, the manager of the season at the end of the season earns £15 million in free tactical gambits to use next season. Whoever finishes second in the manager of the season table will earn £10 million of free tactical gambits to use next season. And whoever finishes third will earn £5 million in free tactical gambits to use next season. That is the top of the manager of the season table. There is a whole host of managers in the bottom half that have started picking up points, but because all of the managers in the bottom half didn't attend the end of season presentation awards, they didn't get those 30 bonus points that everyone in the top half got for attending the Family Fantasy Football League presentation awards. So it's very much a table of two halves at the moment, but that is the top half. Your chance to earn manager of the season points next week. We're rolling it over. It's going to be worth 2 manager of the season points next week. You've got a little bit longer because we're going into the international break and FFL HQ is closing. It's going to be a while until we do the game week 3 review. So you've got a couple of weeks to get your guesses in. Remember, only one guess per manager between now and the next Banter in the Box video. But if you can tell me which current Family Fantasy Football League manager is pictured there, you will earn 2 manager of the season points. That is your game week 2 review. Remember, while FFFL HQ is closed, you can still make transfers. I just won't be able to check them until I get back. I will send out an update on Monday with the latest scores after this weekend's games. And remember, the teams in the bottom half of the table, as at Saturday night, midnight Saturday, will all earn an extra £5 million to spend on their team. And I'll update the league table when I send it out on Monday, so that those people that have got the extra £5 million will be able to see their budget will have increased to £85 million on the league table. So that's it, everyone. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.